Hi, if you're stuck at chess, this video is definitely for you. We'll analyze the game of Robert James Fischer, the world chess champion, where he showed up how to play this game in general. So we will master chess with help of Robert James. His opponent decided to play a weird opening, untheoretical one, and we will see how Fischer deal with this. My name is Pavel Martinov, and welcome you to my YouTube channel, and let's start. So in this game, Robert played as black, and his opponent started with d4. His opponent was burned. So knight f6, c4, g6, g3. Black can play with d5, without d5 now, on d6, on the king's Indian. But he decided to go to the line of Grunfeld with c6, bishop g2, d5. That's a very popular line even nowadays. So white decided to take on d5, take on d5, which is still the main. Knight c3, bishop g7, and here basically white decided to play e3. This move is pretty slow, and that's what I was meaning when I said untheoretical. He decided to go out of the theory. The main line is basically knight f3, castle short, knight goes to e5, a very well-known theory with the big line inside. Black can play e6 to protect the pawn on d5, and the game here is really complicated. Returning back to the game, so after bishop g7 he played the e3 move. So white's trying to go out from the theory, and lots of chess players are getting nervous on this point, like what to do, I don't know the theory. But let's follow the Fischer's ideas. So he just played castle, castle is good anyway, knight e2, knight c6, castle short, and that's a kind of a critical position of the opening. If you don't know what to do, just develop your pieces on the best positions you can find for them. So that's why Fischer is going with b6. He's trying to go out with this bishop. He can keep b7 or a6, which could be potentially more active. So looks very logical. And white's basically struggling with the bishop on c1 because he is not above the pawn chain, e3, d4. That's why they decided to play b3 in this position. Bishop goes to a6, so Fischer follows up strictly his opening strategy, and white decided to play bishop goes to a3. I believe that in way of passive like bishop goes b2, we can keep our eye on the e5 ideas, the same issue how it was in the game, or we can do, for example, rook c8, a kind of a useful move. It's never bad to put the rook to the open line, right? Then we can play rook e8, preparing our e5 issue, or maybe less ambitious e6, depends on the situation. Anyway, this position is good for black, and computer assess this as a small advantage for black even, because bishop on b2 is really blocked with this pawn chain, and white's pieces are more passive basically than black's pieces in general. But white decided to play bishop a3, aiming their bishop to prevent the e5 idea. So I think that the next move is not hard to guess for black. The move was rook e8, and white decided to play queen d2, just trying to link the rooks. And here the critical position, let's call it of middle game, because black needs to choose and pick up the plan. They still can do rook c8, like a good move. If you don't know what to do, put the piece to the better position, right? That's like very obvious strategy, which still works even here. But Fischer decided to go for aggressive e5, and I really like this move for several reasons. First of all, black saying it's our game and we want to keep initiative. I'm still for playing chess active in general for all chess lovers. It's my general suggestion, try to be active. Secondly, it's positionally based move. So what to do as white? If white will do something like rook c1, let's imagine, I can debate between e4 immediately or e takes d4. I personally like the e4, exposing space, like we have space advantage now, and then we can do this typical h5, h4, knight h7, knight g5 attack. That is really regarding to the pawn on e4. We can make some useful moves like queen d7, rook c8. So I think that this position is totally better for black. And what is really important, it's practically much way easier to play this as black than as white. Returning back, white decided to take on e5, the most concrete approach, knight takes e5. And now we have this controversy between the activity of black pieces and the weak pawn on d5, which is isolated. To be honest, the activity here prices higher than the pawn. because white pieces are very passive, and we are already threatening some ideas like knight d3 at some moment or something like this. White should be really careful. The d5 pawn weakness is not filling immediately. By the way, you can't capture right now because I will just capture, and go knight f3. That's the tactical approach. Bishop takes f3, queen goes d2, winning absolutely for black. So the pawn is not hanging. The tactics is very easy. What white can't do in this position? The best decision was to go rook a d1, bringing the rook to the center. Black has like several options, like queen d7 looks very logical. Still, the pawn on d5 is not hanging now because I can take, and play rook a d8. Hanging, pin. So black's better here. Yeah, my idea is just to bring the rook to d8. Don't forget that the isolated pawn is more active than the vis-a-vis pawn on e3, so it gets us more space and some points for our knights to jump in. Basically, the best line according to the computer is to play knight e4 to sacrifice the rook on f1. Because on some passive path I can do knight d3, right? Attacking here. So still white's in trouble. White's in trouble. If they try to do something like bishop b2, okay, I will go rook d8. My center is very great. I want to play queen g4, knight f3 at some moment. I can think about h5, h4 even to attack the king of white. So black's leading the game. Besides, in the game, white made a serious mistake, which is losing. Rook f goes d1. This move is almost losing. Knight goes d3 now. And here, white made a final mistake, which makes black's able to show the tactical brilliancy. Queen goes c2. Looks logical because white wants to take on d3 twice and receive pair of pieces for the rooks. But white forgot about the tactical issue black have. Knight goes f2. This move is basically destroying the position. White have no choice just to capture, and knight goes g4. And now the king position is too weak. King goes g1. So if white will try to run away with king e1, I don't care. Queen f6. Threatening this, at some moment threatening this, keeping eye on the rook. No choice to save this position for white. They are really overloaded with pins. So king goes to g1 was played, knight to e3, queen goes to d2. And now, basically, we made this combination definitely not to take on d1. We still want to use the white's king weak position. And to do this, we need to destroy his main defender, knight takes g2. For sure, knight takes d1 is completely less powerful. After rook takes d1, white saves pair of pieces for the rooks. No more attack to this king, so white's position is good. I will fix it with knight d4, shut down the black's bishop, and that's it. So knight takes g2. Maybe that's what white didn't expect from black. King takes g2 and d4, a brilliant pawn sacrifice. We need to unlock the diagonal for the bishop, and this one as well. So our bishop will destroy the position. Knight takes d4, which is forced, bishop b7. The king is down. After king f1, black just played queen d7, threatening queen h3 check, and white decided to resign on move 22 in this position. The bishops are so wild. I really love the line that Fischer have in his annotation. Queen goes f2, queen goes f3, king goes g1 for sure. And the final combo, you can press pause and try to find it by your own, but that's really beautiful. Rook goes e1. The idea that queen e1 is not possible, queen g2 checkmate, but on rook takes e1, I have bishop takes d4 with the same approach, that after queen takes d4, it's a pin basically, queen g2 checkmate. A great game, a really great game, in which white resigned because they can't stop the attack, and the king issue makes too much pressure to their position. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you took some techniques from Fischer, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch other episodes there because you can improve your chess skills with my help. See you soon on my new and old videos.